What's up, guys? So this is going to be my shark deck profile with number 4 Stealth Kragen. So I've been thinking about doing a profile for this again, this format for a while, just because this deck is really good, this format. And I've been seeing quite good results on DB. I've been taking X1s at a few locals with it. It's just in general a really strong deck. Now I played it like religiously last format. Played it so many locals for a long time, but I ended up dumping it because losing Desires did hurt the deck a lot. But there's two awesome things. Firstly, Remora. I didn't used to play XYZ Remora, but I do play it now. Because I think now that you haven't got Desires, Remora just does a lot. The other thing is next month they are getting 2 great pieces of, well, they get like 4 great pieces of support in the Crystal and Abyss Shark, and they also get some extra deck monsters. And the main one is a quick effect, Silent on a 101 that doesn't target. So all of that together, I think, is going to give this deck a lot of ability. We might even see it at Nats if some people, I think it comes out the day before Nats. So we might see some people at Nats with this. But yeah, I definitely think those have all given this deck a way to play and be good even without Desire. So this deck, obviously this build obviously doesn't have the new support. But I think even without the support, this deck just plays really well. This deck plays really well into destruction-based removal. And it also has access to a lot of staples that are just good this format generically. So yeah, let's get into the profile. So we start off with free Buzzsaw. It's your main starter. It's just a really good card. One of the nicest things about Buzzsaw as well is the fact that it's one of the few kind of +1s in the deck. Most of the time in this deck, and I'd say the biggest weakness of the deck is maintaining sort of hand economy. Or just to maintain economy in general, because you haven't got anything that really searches, that really pluses. But this card does plus. It directly grabs a card from the deck, which is amazing, and it's a body, a level 4 body. Lantern Shark. This is more for a target of Buzzsaw Shark, but it's not a terrible normal summon. I don't play more because I am playing Beautiful Princess. However, I think when the new Sharks come out, I might actually cut Beautiful Princess or put her down to 201, because then Lantern does become a lot better. But yeah, it is a really good card. One thing you do have to keep in mind is that he locks you into XYZ monsters for the rest of the turn. So if you are playing Instant Fusion or whatever, you have to make sure you use those first before using him, otherwise you won't be able to use them. Yeah, you play 1 Lantern. 1 right hand is another target. I go back and forth from this card. I cut it sometimes because it is a bit of a brick. It's not an amazing normal summon because it's literally just a normal summon, a level 4 body. But in grand games, it's nice because obviously it can keep coming back from the graveyard. And its ability to protect a monster from battle does come up a lot. You actually kind of want them to beat Yugioh Kragen because you basically plus from that. But sometimes in simplified game states, it is nice to have a Kragen that can't be beaten over. And sometimes when an opponent has a towers, you need to accrue resources for a while to make like a Zeus or Utopic future. And this does let you do it. But it's not a bad card. It's kind of like I'm back and forth on it. You can cut it and it'll be fine. Play 3 Remora. So like I said, I didn't used to like this card because I thought it was win more with Desires. However, now that Desires is not there, you do need something kind of explosive in the deck on top of the floodgate you've got. And Remora does achieve that. Now, the issue I have with Remora is just that so many hands, Remora doesn't really change. And most of the time, Remora only adds 1 more negate to your board, which is why I don't really like it. However, occasionally it does allow you to really pop off. I might show a combo at the end of this with Remora. But yeah, so it's not a terrible card, but I think one thing that's nice as well is that when the new Sharks come out again, this can literally be played at 1 because you can search it, which is great. But for now, I think with Desires at 1, we should play Remora at 3. Play 3 Tiny Spirit Stana. It's just a body, great card. Body, and also if they have DP or something and they're silly, they'll pop your instant fusion target, and then you'll just activate this, gets pop card for free, and bring the card back out, which is nice. 3 Sand Angler, really good summon. It's a bit annoying because it locks off your hand after you've used it, so you have to use this last if you're summoning it from the hand, but whatever. Sea Nettle again. It's like this deck has so many good extenders with like one niggling issue. So like the issue with this one is it locks you into water monsters, but still a really good start, and also it recycles monsters. Then play 3 Beautiful Princess. Yeah, card's so bad. It's actually terrible. It's the worst card in the deck, but it's also the best card in the deck because you have to play it. The problem with this card is that it's so susceptible to Astral Gamma, and if it gets Astral Gammaed, you haven't even got a body on the board, so you're probably going to lose unless your hand was already cracked. And also, it's also susceptible to everything that Buzzsaw is, because you're just bringing out Buzzsaw with it. That's its goal, to bring out Buzzsaw. So it's susceptible to every hand trap, and it doesn't even leave a body when it's interrupted. But you just have to play it because, yeah, there's not an abundance. It's another way to access a +1 in the deck that gets you. It's a 1 card rank basically, and you haven't got many opportunities to do that. But yeah, it's actually a really bad card, and like I said, when the new Sharks come out, I'll be cutting that down because it's just, yeah, it's not a good card. I don't like cards that if my opponent interrupts me, I have to pass an empty board. In my opinion, that makes a card bad, and That's exactly what that card does. White Mirror is busted. Monster Reborn and then a search. The only issue obviously is that you need fishes in the graveyard for it to be relevant, but you play a lot of fish. But yeah, this card's just really, really good. It's a shame that it's level 4 or lower, because again with the new support it'd be great if it wasn't, but yeah, whatever. 2 ready, 1 instant. Yeah, Ready Fusion's just good because Ready Fusion is just another copy of Instant Fusion and use it for free body. So this is basically a free body, and because of Silent Sea Nettle, that allows you to put your fusion back in the deck if you draw extra copies, so it's rarely dead. 1 Desires, I don't know why they limited this, but whatever. 1 Call by the Grave, because Call by the Grave. 3 goes in, yeah, just main deck it. No one's going to be having enough back row removal. It's rare that people are going to have so much back row removal that they can deal with this, and even against the Brave Engine, for example, you just pop the token. Because if you're using Gozen, you're rarely just flipping Gozen for no reason. You're always flipping it with Kragen, which means if you have Gozen, you have Kragen. So what happens is you just let them search out their Brave Engine, put the token on board. Once they attach to the thingy and they activate the effect, wait for them to activate the effect, and then just pop the token, and then the effects won't go through, and then they lose because they can't have this. Yeah, Gozen's good. Imperm. Yeah, so these are my hand traps. 2 Imperm, 2 Ogre, 2 Ash, 2 Bell. Yeah, nothing to say. The hand trap lineup, to be honest, is not optimized for this format. The only one that I know for a fact that I'll be doing at Nats is Imperm. Everything else, I don't know. I don't really know. I haven't done my hand trap ratios yet. But yeah, those are my hand trap ratios. So that is the main deck, clean 40. This deck definitely needs to be playing at 40. Even 39 with upstart, because obviously you're really about the resource game and stuff, and you just need to always have solid hands. Then the extra deck. So we play Utopic Future Package. This card's amazing. This card gives you so much strength in the deck because you can't out big monsters easily, and you just need a kind of card that's like a boss monster that just generates pressure, and this does that. Like, it's just going to be a negate every turn and taking cards, which is nice. Play the 1 Rare Fish because it's just an instant fusion target. Baguska, this card just cracked this one. This card's so good. Beats everything. Flunder, make Baguska, they lose. What's it called? What's the other deck called? Branded, make Baguska. Unless they have Imperm or Droplets, they can't do anything. They're waiting for you to have agency. And so that's what I like about Baguska. This format, it really, really just dominates so many decks. I think if you can play Baguska, you should. Especially if you're a Link deck that can play Baguska. If you're a Link deck that can play Baguska because it's just so good, this format. It really, really wins against a lot of decks. And Dweller as well is amazing, this format. It just shuts out so many decks. So yeah, Dweller, Baguska, both good techs. Play Zeus because, yeah, again, it's Zeus XYZ deck. The funny thing is, you don't actually go into Zeus in this deck that often, just because you rarely, you want your monsters to be on board. You want things like your Kragans and stuff to be on board to be generating your advantage. But every now and again it does come up, so I wouldn't cut it, even though I don't go I go into it maybe like 1 every 5 games now. Like, it's actually not that often that I go to Zeus, but it's still a good card. Then the 2 Spawns and the 2 Kragans, cards busted. This is what makes the deck so good. I mean, this card is actually just so good. Even with its low attack, it's just really, really powerful. Yeah, popping a card for free, it's enabling your Gozen lock, floating into 2 cards, everything about it is just so amazing. So yeah, you could play 3 Kraken if you really wanted to, but I just don't. But I actually don't see a problem with that. There's cartable things in this extra deck. And then 2 Totally and 2 Bahamut. Yeah, nothing really to say about those. I'd say that Totally and Bahamut is just your generic negate, which is nice. And then what's great as well, and I've said this a lot of times, if you have Totally and Bahamut, you attack with the Totally and then you can Zeus on the Bahamut, and now you have Totally Zeus, which is just a very hard board for most decks to deal with, because it means that whatever happens, they're probably getting Zeused, which is nice. And also playing 1 Jaw Drive with Espinato to enable Remora. But again, actually, it's like, yeah, that's I'd say a weakness of this deck. There's so many like inefficient combos and inefficient lines you have to take. So it's like the Vespinata is so rubbish to just add 1 more negate to your board. Like, what? But yeah, I've got the space. The extra deck again. This extra deck is not refined, so I would advise you not to copy it because it's wrong. But yeah, 3 Lava Golem. I don't know. This is just because I didn't even streamline the extra deck properly. But 3 Lava Golem because sometimes you don't really need your normal summon. You might have extenders, and this just outs certain annoying boards. Where it's like you just plonk on the board. So it's like, I'd say like the matchups where I use this, where I'll like use Lava Golem, there's things like Despia, for example, where it's like, I just don't want to deal with double Masquerade, I don't want to deal with the Mirror Jade that will come back and stuff. I'll just play Lava Golem. Even if I have to pass, I'm almost okay with that. Sit on Lava Golem and traps and hand traps and hope that I get to an extend the next turn. So yeah, Lava Golem. Then back row package. So Reboots, Evenlies, and Dusters, which is my back row package. Yeah, again, not much to say about. Evenly's the best side deck card this format by far. Everything else is just, yeah, generic back row removal. Then everything else is for Flunder, because there's a Flunder player at my locals, and Flunder's just a hard matchup for this deck because normal summon barriers natural, then you lose. So 1 Raigeki, 2 Lightning Storm, which can also double as back row removal, and 3 Dark Period no more. So that's my siding pattern for Flunder, which is quite nice. But yeah, guys, so that is the Kragen deck. I said I was going to do some combos, but you know what? I'm not going to do some combos. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a whole video showing some of the DB matches that I've been playing, so you guys can see exactly how I do all of my Remora stuff in this deck. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.